Shalom, call on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Shalom to the left. In this video, I'm going to title it Judgment and Restoration because once I clicked on this, it just stood out to me. I was looking for a few precepts. I happened to see this video. I was scanning and looking at the news when I was out last night. Now you got these Amalekites over in Tel Aviv. It says unwelcome home. Tel Aviv kicks out black Israelites after decades. Now see, they try to add extra words to stuff to twist stuff up in the media. But first of all, we're not black. When you actually see this one guy that's speaking, this guy lighter than me. That black stuff and that African and that American stuff, they try to slide on the title. Just as well as they push out the word Jewish when the suffix ish means like, don't mean it's necessarily that. So they really got some nerve. But see, people that's actually over there now, they talking about prophecy and all this other stuff. They didn't pay attention to these different prophecies, like in the book of Ezekiel, book of Jeremiah, book of Isaiah, book of Daniel. I'm gonna pull a few of them, try to cut this video short, get straight to the point. I'm gonna let this play first though.
The Israeli town of Dimona doesn't have many claims to fame beyond lending its name to a nearby nuclear reactor that some allege is part of a secret weapons program. But now Dimona is back in the news. It's home to a community that calls itself the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem. Now, this is a group of African Americans who believe that they are the descendants of one of the lost tribes of Israel, in their case, Judah, and they see Israel as their spiritual homeland.
We feel that this is our legitimate ancient homeland, ancestral homeland. We can document these things culturally, historically. We can document the fact that many of us are actually genetically, culturally, historically connected to this land. We answered this call. We want to be part of this light that prophetically was to go forth in these very dark times on the planet. And we know that we have that contribution to make. And we've made that contribution for 50 plus years here in Israel. And we're known amongst the people. And these are part of our family members who, over the last 25 years, have become deeply intertwined with us.
This African-American expat community, the largest in the world, has lived here for just over half a century. But now roughly 100 of them are facing imminent deportation. Israel's Interior Ministry says they're in the country illegally and has rejected their requests for residency.
And if you want to be technical, Esau go everywhere. And they end up being in the damn land illegally. All the different treaties that they make, the invasions, the colonizing. But this is the type of stuff they push out in the media. But see, the Most High got the last say-so in this one. So either way it go, these people get deported and shipped wherever they get shipped at. It's still part of prophecy anyway. And let me pull this out of the book of Ezekiel real quick, and I'll pull some more. The book of Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 33, it says, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will rule over you. I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered. And they actually about to be scattered. And we've been scattered already anyway. This just to add to it. And it says, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, says the Lord Yahweh, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from you among the rebels and them that transgress against me. Now I'm talking about the 2/3. And it says, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And you should know that I am the Lord. And that's what's going to happen, man. Let me go to this other precept real quick before I jump back. See, this ain't even happened yet. That's how you know them Amalekites. Those not the actual people that the scriptures speak of. But the scriptures do speak of Amalek, and that's who they descend from. But don't nobody want to be no Amalekite, though. Let me pull this other precept. It's in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13. Go there real quick. Okay, here we go. It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, and verse 8. It says, "And it shall come to pass, because this hasn't happened yet, it says that in all the land, says the Lord, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but a third shall be left therein." And that third is talking about mainly the elect. And it says, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them, and silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name." That's why knowing the name is very valuable. Because if you want somebody to help you, you gotta know who you call on. If you need your plumbing fixed, you gotta know what plumber to call. You need your electricity fixed, you ain't gonna call a fucking pizza guy. So just like this, when it comes to these scriptures on a higher level, you want to call on somebody to help you, you want to call on the Most High to help you, you gotta know his name. It says they should call on my name and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, Yahweh is my power. And that's what's going to happen. This ain't happening yet, though. But it's coming soon, though. And it's major that they're putting this in the news like this, you know. They don't really have as much views as other stuff. But it's all good, though. It's going to be seen by the people that need to see it.
We had about 24 of our family members, friends, associates here who received letters of deportation, intent to deport. And these were cases that had been in limbo for the last 2 decades, 2.5 decades in some cases. And so they were given, to our great surprise, they were given a 60-day notice, 21 days to appeal, deportation notices. Certainly, outside observers have acknowledged the fact.
See, this guy, he's not black, what you would call black. What you can tell by his spirit, though, by his mannerism, his charisma, so to speak. That's a Jake, man. Yeah, he know it. Let me go to another preacher real quick. It's in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 16. See, this is a spiritual thing. That's why you can't put no black title or nothing like that. Because you can go see somebody like they Chinese, but if they descend from one of these tribes, they're not actually Chinese. They may look a certain way, because over time, people get mixed up. And the Most High set it up perfect just like that. So Esau can't really go around and be like, oh yeah, it's just these group of people. You got people scattered almost everywhere, and I got a video I was gonna make on that too as well. I don't want to write this out. I'll make one basically about people being scattered over in Russia. You got some people everywhere. Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, Syria, China, Japan, both Koreas, north and the south, throughout Canada. What's some other reasons? Oh, Greenland, Iceland, Poland, all these different areas around Earth. How people have been scattered. But what the Most High gonna do? Let me read this precept real quick and I'll go into that. It's the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 16. It says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. And I remember when I was in elementary school, before I even really knew certain stuff, I always used to be like, hey, I want to go to Jerusalem. It was just something in my spirit that was making me want to say that. I ain't know nothing about no Jerusalem when I was young, but my spirit knew though. Let me go to the other precept. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 3. It says, for behold, the days are coming, because they haven't came yet. It says, declares the Lord, when I will restore from captivity my people Israel and Judah, declares the Lord. I will restore them to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they will possess it. And see, that's why they're getting pushed out right now, because there wasn't time for them to be over there. And they really should count this as a blessing for real, because with the Most High really about to put the spirit on these heathens to do to that land, you don't want to be there when they go down. Because it's really about to be some turmoil going on over there. Let me pull another precept real quick. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 24, says, "For I will take you from among the nations," which means our people scattered all around all these nations over there in Saudi Arabia, India, Malaysia, or some other areas, Singapore, Thailand. It says, "For I will take you from among the nations and gather you out of all the countries, and I will bring you back into your own land." It says he gonna bring us back into our own land. He ain't say go pack you up a bag and go over there you damn self. Now, let me let this play some more.
The fact that racism is an element within the structure of the Ministry of Interior.
Dawn now has just 60 days to get out of the country, a place she's called home for decades. Her children, all of whom were born in Israel, also face imminent deportation.
It's very disturbing to me to think that my children will be deported from the land of their birth. They've never lived anywhere else. This is the life that they know. And as an adult, this is the life that I know. I've spent most of my adulthood here in Israel. I'm surprised because our community has been here for 53 years. We have been a very vital part of the Israeli society. Our children serve in the IDF. Any aspect of the Israeli society we're a part of.
Others feel they're living in Israel on borrowed time. Their tourist visas expired years ago.
All of us have some degree of issue with the Ministry of Interior in terms of taking some unusually long time to get what you would expect to do to you in 3 years, 4 years, 4 months. It's always something. The difference is that some of us are already in the system and are moving at least, we thought, in a positive direction. The Ministry of Interior, especially under the dominion of the Orthodox parties, has always seen us as something other than. We're not seen as Jews. It's always something else. We're outside of the law, and we're unincorporable into the family of the houses of Israel.
And there's a reason for that. I was just talking to somebody about this too. You know, this precept, the Book of Psalms. It's a reason for that. And you better believe the top elites, they've been watching these videos. Man, a lot of people, they probably hear this and laugh and talk shit or whatever. Hey, you motherfuckers, y'all in for a rude awakening because the top elites, they know what's up though. That's why they doing the stuff that they actually doing. They know about this precept right here. It's mainly speaking on what they do. Let me scroll down a little bit more so I just want to get the full spectrum of it. This is the Book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 3. It says, but I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult." Now, they've been over there amongst the enemies, trying to dwell and intermingle, and vice versa, because we over in Babylon as well. The prophecy still got to be fulfilled. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against our people and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." And when you hear that word confederate, what does that bring to mind? I don't even want to type in the actual flag. I'm going to just type in what pop up when you hear that word confederate. Oh, lo and behold. Let me just go down a little bit. It says confederate. It says joined by agreement or a treaty. Some local groups united to form confederate councils. Go down a little bit more. Let me just give some examples. It says a person one works with, especially in something secret or illegal, and accomplice. And this is illegal. You ain't supposed to do no shit like this. But that's Esau for you though. And who the main head that started this off? And it says it right there. The tabernacles of Edom. And it has all the other nations up on there too. They linked up too, so they gotta drink of that cup as well. But they ain't gonna drink it as much as Esau gonna drink it.
And we know that there are many different versions of Judaism, many different communities with different historical and cultural differences that find a way to get along. How come we can't fit? We're committed to this land. We've committed ourselves, our futures, our children. 100% of our children, when they graduate high school, they serve in the IDF. We've represented Israel in academic and sports and cultural events around this world.
The community has come a long way in the 53 years since a former factory worker from Chicago arrived here with some 30 of his followers. Devoted and committed to Israel, they practice all Jewish holidays and festivals, eat vegan, and practice polygamy. Although it's only a small percentage of the community that faces deportation.
Now, I was telling somebody about this too, about the eating vegan thing. There's nothing wrong with going vegan and eating veggies and stuff. But eventually, if you're celebrating the Passat and you're going by the law, you gotta have that lamb. Ain't no impossible meat eating lamb shit going on either. Yahushua and the disciples and all that, they wasn't eating no impossible meat when the Passat came around. But that's just, that's another topic. Dietary laws and going into the laws. That's another topic for later. See, the Most High, he got to restore us, man, because we can't even really live and serve to our full potential like we want to. That's why we practice the righteous works, practice the righteous acts. Now, I ain't going to ramble on too much more. Just want to bring this up. Let me see, I'm going to pull a few more precepts and I'll end this up. Okay, here we go. It's in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 23. It says, I will magnify and sanctify myself and will reveal myself in the sight of many nations. Then they will know that I am the Lord. And ain't none of this stuff happened yet. See, it's another precept too that I seen earlier. It's in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 13. It says, I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries and will bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel by the rivers and in all the inhabited places of the country. Once again, this ain't happening yet, but it's coming now. Let's see. Okay, let me jump back in the book of Psalms, and I'll just end this up. So the book of Psalms, chapter 83, and verse 12, it says, who said, let us take ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession? And the houses, they did that. They took our people, man. Those would be considered houses like the house of Jacob. And you go all the way down to the house of Judah, house of Levi, house of Benjamin, house of Ephraim, house of Manasseh, house of Naphtali, house of Issachar, house of Zebulun, house of Reuben, Gad, Simeon, all the different houses. And going down some more, it says, oh, my power, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth for wood, and as a flame that sets the mountains on fire. So persecute them with a tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yeah, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. And this is going to happen, man. Because people, they're going to hear it. They're going to see men calling on that name. The chariots be out. Judgment be taking place on a high level. All type of destruction going on. While the war is breaking out, you're going to have people getting delivered simultaneously while the nukes dropping. All this stuff going to be happening simultaneously. And these nations, they're going to see that too as well. Just as well as they're going to see Babylon get wiped out. They're going to hear that name. They're going to see them ships. They're going to see Yahushua. They're going to see the angel starting with Michael all the way on down to all the other archangels. They're going to see this stuff, man. So, hey, these people that's over there that's getting kicked out, so really count this as a blessing from Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Because they ain't going to want to be there. once that judgment fall upon this land first, because it's going to hit there, then that's what's going to spark up a lot of more other stuff. Because if you've been paying attention to the news, Iran, which are known as the Persians, they actually been getting into it with them over there. So hey, stay alert, pay attention to what's going on. I don't want to let you out of edifying, and shalom to the left.